The day Erik knew. It was springtime, the year 1881. The place, Washington State. The land was beginning to thaw. Patches of brown earth peeked through the snow, and the first hints of green fought to return to the barren prairie. The river ice had begun to crack, the sound of shifting water echoing through the valley. The world was waking up. But Ingrid was not. She sat on the porch in the same rocking chair Erik had built for her the year Mary was born. She did not move. She did not hum the little songs she used to sing while shelling peas or rocking the baby in her arms. She only stared, her hands folded in her lap, her gaze fixed on nothing. Erik had been watching her for weeks, studying her the way he studied the sky before a storm. Hoping, dreading. It had been months since Mary's funeral, but Ingrid had not returned to them. Not really. Some days she spoke a little, answering in soft, clipped words when he or the children spoke to her. Some days she seemed almost herself, sweeping the floor or tidying the cabin. But other days she was gone, silent, staring, as if her body was here, but her mind was someplace else. And the worst days were when she talked to Mary as if she were still there. Those were the days that made Erik's chest tighten, his breath shallow in his throat. Those were the days that made him feel helpless, lost in a way he had never known before. The moment he knew. That morning, Erik had gone out to the barn to check on the animals. The snow had melted enough that the horses could be let out into the field, and he spent longer than he should have patching the fence, rubbing his fingers over the worn wood, giving himself time to think. But the pit in his stomach had not eased. And when he returned to the house, when he stepped through the door and saw, his blood turned to ice. Ingrid was sitting in the rocking chair, cradling something in her arms, something that was not there. Her lips moved, barely a whisper, her voice as soft as the wind. "Shh, my love," she murmured, rocking slightly. "You must sleep now." Elise stood by the hearth, clutching Henrik's hand, her face pale, her blue eyes wide with fear. "Mama," she said quietly, but Ingrid did not hear her. Erik swallowed and stepped closer. "Ingrid." She did not look up. His breath came slow and measured. He crouched beside her, his hand steady, even though his heart was not. "Ingrid," he said again, softer now. And finally, she turned to him. Her eyes, God help him, her eyes were distant, glazed over, as if she was looking at him through a thick pane of glass. "She just needs a little more time," Ingrid whispered. Her fingers curled gently, as if stroking a child's soft hair. "She's so small, Erik. She gets cold." His throat tightened. There was nothing in her arms, but in her mind there was. And that was the moment he knew that she wasn't coming back. Not really, not in the way he had been hoping. She would have good days. She might even have months where she seemed almost herself again. But the next winter would come, and another, and Ingrid would always be waiting for Mary, always listening for a cry that would never come. And one day she would walk into the cold and never come back. That night, Erik sat at the table long after the children had gone to bed. The fire burned low in the hearth, casting long shadows against the walls. Ingrid was asleep, curled beneath the quilt he had bought her on their wedding day. His hands were rough as they folded together, his elbows braced on the wooden table. He had built this home with his own 2 hands. He had crossed an ocean for this life, and now he was losing the woman he had done it all for. The thought of sending her away made his stomach twist, but the thought of watching her disappear piece by piece until there was nothing left of the woman he had loved, that was worse. He had seen the way Elise watched her mother now, the way Henrik's shoulders tensed when Ingrid whispered to someone who wasn't there. The children were afraid, and God help him, so was he. He could not let it go on. He could not lose her this way. He could not let their children watch their mother unravel thread by thread. The next morning, Erik saddled the horse and rode into town. And when he returned, his heart was heavier than it had ever been. The arrangements were made. Ingrid would leave in a week. And even as he watched her through the doorway, sitting by the window, humming a lullaby to the ghost in her arms, he knew she would never forgive him. And worse, she would never understand why.